Set!
Blitz is defined as a sudden, savage attack. It is indeed all this. The effect is sure. The premise is simple. It's a basic, primal confrontation, man to man. No excuses are offered, none accepted.
Welcome to the latest edition of Longhorn Blitz with horns247.com.
Looks like a radio station.
Now, here are your hosts, lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers,
Pure athlete, yeah.
I transcend race, hombre.
Matt Butler,
I don't talk man. I back it up. And we are chock full of that, man.
Damn right.
and Jeff Howe.
It's still real to me, damn it. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
If you're gonna blitz, come strong, but don't come at all.
Coming strong with it on a Super Bowl week edition of Longhorn Blitz with horns247.com. I am Jeff Howe. Let me bring in the rest of the team. He is the master of the soundboard, the drop machine extraordinaire. He is Matt Butler. Matt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. Also, before we get to the third member of our team, shout out to Travis, best damn videographer in the podcast game.
Boom.
Working on giving you guys kind of a, not necessarily behind the scenes, but a visual edition of the Blitz for those of you who get it at horns247.com. Whenever Travis, just simple head nod. Your schedule's getting a little steadier right now.
Yeah, hectic. He's heading into Atlanta, not for the Super Bowl, just for traveling the week of the Super Bowl. Which
Well, whatever Travis's schedule permits, he will be in here, and we'll give you kind of the visual edition of the Blitz. A man who he's a visual learner because he's visually stimulated by a lot of things in life. That's what happens when you're a Renaissance man, and he is the Renaissance man here on the show and on 104.9 The Horn. Lifetime Longhorn, 2002 UT All-American, 2002 semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, fourth-round draft choice of the New York Giants in 2003. Spent his NFL career with the Giants, Lions, Bears, Bucks, Broncos, and a year with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL. When he was done with football, got himself back to Austin, Texas, into 40 acres, where he earned his degree. When he gets that T-ring in, he's going to wear it proudly. But nevertheless, he is always and forever a card-carrying member of DBU. Number 21 in your program. Number 1 in your hearts, Mr. Rod Babers. And Rod,
what's up, brother? Nice to meet you. I appreciate it.
We got to thank the Blitz family. You got a DBU hat last week.
I did get a DBU hat.
It got sent to you? I saw one of those. Those things look cool.
Last stand hats, man. They hooked it up. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's legit. It's really nice, man. It's swagged out. So I don't even wear it every day because I don't want to like, kind of get run down.
No.
I want it to be nice.
I remember I learned that like my Texas National Championship shirt. Then I wore it too much, and I was like, it goes away. So I learned, and I have the Astros World Series one that just stays away to be nice, good,
it's a special event hat, basically. Is what it comes
That was a quick turnaround too, because we did the Blitz last Tuesday.
And I went on. I want to say,
and by the time I came in studio with you on Thursday, you had a DBU.
I want to say it came it came Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that. So
nice.
I believe his name is Mike. He was the guy who was the one who helped start it, or the founder. So Last Stand Hats. So shout out to Last Stand Hats.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot going on this week with the Super Bowl. We won't spend very much time on the Super Bowl. We'll just say one way or another, Malcolm Brown's getting a Super Bowl ring on Sunday. It's either going to be Malcolm Brown with the Rams or Malcolm Brown with the Patriots.
Nice.
One of them will get the Super Bowl
hasn't
ring.
the other Malcolm made the Super Bowl every year now?
His rookie year, they were in the AFC Championship game.
So then 3 in a row. So he's been in the league for 4 years already.
So
That's hardcore.
Malcolm Brown's never done worse than the AFC Championship game in his career.
I was telling Rod this. You can win some bar bets with this one. Just go out there. Okay, so if you were to say, well, Brady in the conference championship game or LeBron at the free throw line, which one you take? And it's like, percentage-wise, you take Brady, 13 or 17 championship games in the years that he's finished when you take out his broken leg. So that's like 76%. You have LeBron from the free throw line, 73.8%. So it's like, it's more reliable that Tom Brady will be in the championship game than LeBron at the free throw line. That's nuts.
He says there's zero chance he'll retire after the Super Bowl, too. He's coming back, just so you know.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, no, what do you mean, why not? Everybody wants Tom Brady to retire. I love him.
Except for him.
He's the GOAT. But everybody, even Bill Belichick wanted him to retire. That's why he wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to take over. Like, everybody wants Tom Brady to be done. Giselle, everybody who's an AFC football fan of any team other than the Patriots, and yet Tom Brady won't go anywhere. He refuses to go away.
It's hilarious.
he's like a White Walker at this point. You know what I mean? He's like, what's
the theater of the mind that you and I and Craig Way had built up. Now I look back to our sports buffet days and laugh whenever, because he was the first one to talk about the Emperor of the Dark Side and his Darth Vader and being the hoodie and being Tom Brady, and it like really does seem as if they've sold themselves to the football gods and just control everything.
He is. He's basically Darth Vader or the Night King, whoever you want to call him. Darth Vader dies, so I don't know. I'm calling him the Night King.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, but it took a long time for Vader to die.
It's true. He basically was.
Unless you're saying that Brady will go forever.
He had no legs or arms, basically.
Hey, that's Brady. Brady's going to be going till he's 50.
I mean, I know football ends for everybody, but let's hope it ends for Tom Brady with all of his extremities.
He's going to play so long in the future. He's going to end up just being.
And then he's going to be an old. He takes off his mask and he's an old black guy.
Is he going to be like Jax from Mortal Kombat with like two cyborg arms?
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, that's what
and then you'll have Belichick looking like the Emperor of the Dark Side, and he's over there with his hoodie on.
It's true. I agree with that.
Right. Well,
sounds about right.
We're not talking about the dark side, but we'll go behind the burnt orange curtain here on this edition of the show. Rod, last week we were talking about the running back situation, and that's a good spot to pick it up because you said it, and I agree with you. It's the most talent deficient position on the 40 right now. We talked about, well, maybe if Kyle Porter decides to stick around, maybe what you could find in the grad transfer market won't be significantly better than Kyle Porter. Well, I guess it will be because Kyle Porter's probably not going to be at Texas. Kyle Porter's now in the transfer portal. Tristan Houston's in the transfer portal. So we'll see what happens with both of those guys. I would expect Kyle Porter to try to go play somewhere else. Both those guys are going to graduate in May and try to move on. So, Rod, you look at it now, at least for the spring, I would think the game plan might be let's keep Keontae Ingram in bubble wrap. Just make sure you get him to August 31 intact.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to. He's not competing for the starting job anymore. It's his.
So but really this spring,
just get stronger and get faster.
This spring, I think the staff really needs to take three guys, Danny Young, Kirk Johnson, and Jordan Whittington, and figure out what's your pecking order at running back.
I think it's easy, honestly. I mean, the running back position is easy to project. I mean, I think we all agree, and I think I said it on this show, that Keontae Ingram was going to be starting running back by midseason. Mm-hmm. And I think even before midseason, we were all like, oh, it looks like he's going to end up being the best option at running back, even if he's not the starting running back. Right? I remember on this show when we saw Deontay Foreman one time, we were like, oh, he's the best running back. I don't know why Charlie Strong won't start him. And he went the whole year and didn't start him. Didn't start until, 2016. And then he ends up winning the Doak Walker Award, all right, the first year he's a starter. So it's not hard to project running back, all right? So let me show you how it's going to be. Let me give you my Blackstradamus prediction, all right? Keontae Ingram's going to be your starter. If they're going to have Jordan Whittington playing running back, he is easily your second best running back. It ain't even close. That's already a done deal. Even before he steps on campus, if he ain't already here, he's your second best running back. And then after that, you have situational guys. Danny Young can be your, when you want to get in that power package, you want to get into, I'm talking about a real power package with Sam Mellinger and then Danny Young back there, either as the guy that, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, you want to get into a true, like, kind of power stack formation. That's your guy. And then Kirk Johnson, if healthy, he can be a guy that kind of stretches the perimeter for you. You know what I mean? He can get a guy that can get into the screen game, that you can run the draws with him. Maybe he's your third and long, kind of third down running back if you need that as a spell. But right now, it's Keontae Ingram and Jordan Whittington. If Whittington is going to be, and like you said, he's going to be taking most of his reps at running back.
The running back situation really makes me wish Darian Brown was here for the spring. Because if he was, I think you might be able to keep, at that point, you might be able to keep Jordan Whittington at that H position, that slot position, and Darian Brown would go into the summer being your number 2 running back.
That's a good point. You know what? I will say this, though. I don't mind, because, Jake Smith, I'm assuming, is going to be a H receiver too, okay?
All the way.
So I don't mind. Listen, look at the new age of the running backs. Let's even look at the Super Bowl as it is right now, right? The new age of the running back is a guy that can come out of the backfield and also be a receiving threat. Like that goes without saying. Like the old age running back, like you don't pay those guys. People want to know, why did Todd Gurley get the big money? Why is Zeke gonna get the big money? Because they give you added value. I always compare old school running backs to guys who can just run the football and are not receiving threats. They're like cell phones, right? Cell phones used to be expensive. They're not anymore. You can go get a cell phone right now if you want to. Now, if you want a smartphone, one that's going to be able to give you, all your apps and get your Tinder and be able to, have your Uber on there and your Lyft and a smartphone that can give you all the added value and all the added advantages, to increase your exponentially increase your quality of life, then that's going to cost you a ton of money. The latest smartphone is like probably $1,000 phone, probably more than that, easily. All right. That's what the new age running back is. And Jordan Whittington can be that. He can be your Alvin Kamara. He can be your Todd Gurley. He can be your Christian McCaffrey, even your Zeke in a role where, he's a running back. That's his designation. But if I motion him out and he gets a free release, he can beat you inside. If he gets a two-way go, he can beat you inside or outside. If he's matched up on a linebacker or a safety, and we can do that at any given time.
Darian Brown's got that skill set also.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and Tom Herman had that with the young man who transferred from Texas. What's his thing? The running back. The U of H. Give it to me. Catalan. Duke Catalan was basically that for him. You know what I mean? He was that guy. They didn't use him exactly in that way.
Duke Catalan caught 40, 45, 44, 45 balls 1 year.
But what were they? Look at Brady. They were swing passes. They were quick little, linebacker matched up. Swing it to him. Swing it out to him. You know what I mean? Little quick little flares.
It was like the first play of the Georgia game we talked about. Like it was almost like an old school sweep. You're just throwing it instead of pitching it.
How often do the Patriots look like they're doing something like that with James White? And it's like, they just kind of matched up on, a linebacker. So, hell no, they put a linebacker on this guy? Okay, let's go. Quick out to the flat, see if they can keep up with it. So, if you look at every great offense now has that type of player, and the Kansas City Chiefs do it a lot just to kind of make the NFL comparison. For Texas, the pro spread, it's a pro spread. I like Jordan Whittington in that role as that type of running back, the new age running back, the smart running back.
And he can almost be the guy that provides depth, too, that if you need him at certain positions, he can be Percy Harvin and be a guy that can back up other ones. Or what we envision Tavon Austin to be in the pros, where a guy that can have that versatility, use that chest piece, and then you're the guy that is able to do all of those things across the board. Makes it a lot easier. And then add on like the pro style that we saw, the difference between James Conner and Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell's ability to split out wide, he was the guy that is able to wants to be paid like a wide receiver because he can actually bring that aspect to the table if asked to. Very few running backs have those traits to bring that then, you become so much more valuable because you're literally irreplaceable.
It just, the running back discussion as a whole takes me back to the early signing period when Texas missed on Trey Sanders and Noah Cain. And it just makes me wonder, Rod, I don't disagree at all with what you're saying. I agree with you, because you look at where that running back position is going, and versatility is at a premium now. But we're seeing, with teams make it work. You got to have more than one. You got to have multiple backs, and you got to have versatility to make it work. My view is, and I don't have any inside information on this, I'm just reading the tea leaves and piecing things together. I think what Tom Herman and Stan Drayton really want is they want what they had at Ohio State with Zeke Elliott, with Carlos Hyde. I think they want a guy that they can turn around. You can hand that guy the ball 25 times, and he can be your bell cow running back.
Yep.
But I think what we saw with Texas this past season, it proved you can have a, above average, solid running back group without having one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's actually
where football's headed.
Yeah, I was like, that is actually more the rule now. The exception is having a Zeke. If you're lucky enough to get a Zeke.
The few humans that can do it, there's like 10 of them out there that can just do it all. Otherwise, you want a guy that has just serviceable enough skills so then you aren't basically telegraphing what you're going to do on the field. You want them to be respectable enough that you would think, I'm going to hand the ball off to this guy, or he could block, but he can actually provide all of those different things to your offense.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying about the running back position. Like that's what they want, but if you don't have that guy, it's not the end of the world.
No, especially with the talent that you have.
There's very few of those guys in the world. Like, and luckily Texas, out of college running backs, Ingram's a guy that shows the skill set that he might be able to be one of those guys.
To me, you almost build your offense, like you said, around the multiplicity and the skill sets of different guys. And then if you get a Zeke, or if you get a Deontay Foreman, then you go, all right, I got a beast. I got a guy that can carry the workload, and I can give him the ball 25, 30 times a game, and he's going to still average 4.5, 5 yards a pop. Like, he's that kind of player. Honestly, I don't see those kind of guys anymore. To me, I see the guys that are turning into the kind of the modern-day Eric Metcalfs of the world. You know what I mean? I see more of those guys. In fact, that's what I want. I want a guy that can do both. I mean, I would love to be like Georgia and have 2,000-yard rushers. But
wouldn't we all?
Yeah, I think that's rare. Now, they've done it 2 years in a row. I say rare, but I don't know if you can do that. I don't even know if you want to do that. I want more versatility in my offense. I like that Texas, what they're doing. I like the fact that they have, Whittington and Jake Smith, two guys that consider, they can play in the slot potentially or play in the backfield depending on the formation, depending on circumstance and down and distance. Even though, and we've talked about this on the show, this wide receiving class, some people saying it's the most talented wide receiving class Texas has ever had or close.
Well, I think now it's definitely in the discussion.
And you compare it to,
already before.
And we'll get into the obviously Brew McCoy, but you compare it to that, then you comparing it to that 2000 wide receiving class where you brought in 3 5-star wide receivers that I was here to witness, B.J. Johnson and Sloan Thomas and Roy Williams, and it is, you could argue, it's different, and it may have a higher ceiling because of the versatility of it. Like the wide receivers I came in, they were wide receivers. I mean, that's what game, but that's what the game called for. That's what the game was about then. Look at now how different and versatile and how athletic these wide receivers are. With Brew McCoy being one of the best athletes in the country, and then Jordan Whittington being able to play running back and wide receiver, and then looking at Jake Smith, who's a Gatorade Player of the Year, but also a guy who's kind of the modern day Alvin Kamara. I mean, he's kind of Alvin Kamara to me. That's how I see him. You know what I mean? Like that's how I see his skill set. But that other group wasn't as versatile. This group brings you different dimensions within your offense, which is why I think I like it a little bit more. You know what I mean? I like the versatility of it.
So hard to defend.
You know what I mean? Like you can't game plan. You can't really match up with all these guys necessarily.
It's almost like the way the NBA
how they're
was.
used.
You look at the guys like how the 90s, though, was a more of a one-on-one type game with the ability for guys to take each other on. And it's sort of how receivers were defined as possession receivers. But then when you started to see the evolution of skill sets, and now you have people that are able to, it's just like it seems like the specialization across the nation has just brought it up to where now what you would sort of envision, we would have loved our outside receiver to be super fast and quick and also have like the footwork of a running back, but like there just weren't that many people doing that early of an age. And nowadays, whenever you can ask more of players, the younger they are, the more they can do by the time they're out of college and head to the pros.
We talked about what you're going to have to see is you're going to have to see just more of the pro spread offense in terms of what this offense really can do with all these different pieces, because there were times where, like we said, you really didn't need to show all that much, and we saw Rod even with a limited view of what this offense can do when it's clicking. I mean, we really haven't seen all the arms of it yet, but you saw, look, you want to take away Colin Johnson? Great. Okay, Lil Jordan Humphrey is going to go for 9 catches and 100-plus yards and a couple touchdowns. You want to stack the box inside. We're not going to run between the tackles. All right, we'll just run that power stretch with Sam on the goal line, and he'll figure out a way to get in. So, you can't it's a pick your poison offense almost when it's clicking and you've got the kind of weapons that Texas had last year and that you're going to have going forward. My thing with the run game, guys, is this, and this we'll talk about this a lot during spring practice, is number one, what you're going to get out of the offensive line, and that thing is a consistent work in progress, because I think, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think you're a couple recruiting classes away from really looking at that offensive line where you could say, okay, you've got enough talent to where you can pretty much do whatever you want with the guys you've got in place. But for 2019, I really wonder how much this offense is going to miss Andrew Beck. Like Andrew Beck now, based on what he did at the East-West Shrine game, Rod, people are talking about him as being a guy that might make an NFL roster because of what he brings to the table, because teams don't carry fullbacks on their roster that much anymore.
No.
But as a third tight end who can be a core special teams guy and be your H-back fullback in short yardage, people look at Beck and say, okay, if you want to make him your 51, 52, 53rd man, he can fill a lot of different roles on a roster. And you look at how huge he was in the run game last year. That, to me, is, I don't worry about the running back position given that everybody stays healthy, because that's the one thing we don't know about. If everybody stays healthy, I don't worry about the talent you've got at running back or even the depth per se. I worry about the pieces around the running back to make that thing go. Specifically, now is the time. We've been talking about it for 2 years now. Now it really is time. Cade Brewer, Reese Lato, what do you two guys bring to the table?
Yeah, I think, no, I agree. Andrew Beck, I mean, what's making him money probably is guys like James Devlin for the Patriots. Mm-hmm. The Patriots kind of bringing back the fullback, going old school. Kyle Shanahan uses the fullback 40% of the time. And yeah, what's his name? Juszczyk, yeah. Use him 40% of the time in their offense. So there's almost this kind of a retro, kind of throwback movement with some of the latest innovative offensive minds saying, no, just because he's a fullback, if he can do this, he has an elite skill as a fullback, meaning James Devlin can open up holes, period. And same thing with Juszczyk, right? Mm-hmm. They can just block. They can block. I mean, you can send them down the A gap or the B gap, and they literally can remove a defender from the gap. If they're that good at doing what they do, you really can have them out there, and then you can use play action, and you can run those guys on wheel routes and like quick flare routes and get them involved in the passing game too. But it forces the defense to devote 8 guys to the box. Right. Like you have to. If that guy's that good, then basically he is almost like taking up 2 defenders. Right? You got to devote because he's going to take out one guy, and then you don't want to take out one guy, then move on to the second level. So it's kind of
it makes you pick the defense that you're facing. Yeah. You get to determine what your best option is at that point.
And then if they want to go 40 personnel and they want to man up, then as long as you got a wide receiver that can win on the outside, and the Patriots have that. They got Gronk, and then they got Edelman, and they got Hogan, guys they can trust the chemistry of Tom Brady. You really can find a way to win. So Beck, I don't know if he's as accomplished a blocker as those guys, but it's definitely room for it because even the Saints, you saw them in the playoffs. Hell, they randomly brought up fullbacks and H-backs. I think he's more of a fullback than an H-back or a tight end, but fullback is making a resurgence in the league. There'll be some copycats. I think half the league has a fullback on the roster. There'll probably be more of that now with the Patriots doing what they're doing.
No, the Cowboys love fullbacks.
Cowboys like fullbacks.
And those blocking tight ends. Do we remember Jeff Swaim?
No, it's crit. I know nobody's getting on the Patriots for going old school. Yeah. When the Cowboys go conservative and old school with 3 tight ends on the field, all of the Cowboys fans lose their mind. And it's like, well, the Patriots are doing it, but the Patriots are so masterful at making it work, and the Cowboys are not. Just so you know, I mean, they may have the same thought process, but yeah, you can't execute it the same damn way.
So, yeah, we'll see how the Texas running game comes together. Like I said, with Cade Brewer, Reese Lato, it's time for those guys to show
man,
you
I can't,
what they bring to the table.
We ain't talking about those 2 guys enough. I love those tight ends, man. They're going to be big. Yeah. They're going to be big.
They're going to have to be because, losing Beck and losing 3 starters on the offensive line, I mean, you're going to have to get that pop in the run game from somewhere. And I don't know, the run game, we talked about it all year. Was it great? No, but it was good enough when you needed it to be. And so I think that's the bar that's been set for this run game in this program under Tom Herman. It doesn't need to be a dominant run game for you to be effective on offense. It just can't be bad.
Well, and it's sort of when you look at what the parts you're given, what you can do with those parts. And at the beginning of the year, we were hoping that the parts are just average up front, and if that means that if you can get good production from just average, then continue this building blocks, and maybe you'll be able to turn it into what you really envision it to be.
And when you talk about what this offense can be, guys, it's time to bring it up because, especially if he's eligible, Brew McCoy makes the transfer from USC to Texas. One of the crazier things I've seen since I've been covering recruiting for 15, 16 years now. He enrolls at USC, takes a couple classes, and realizes this isn't really what I want. He ends up at Texas, and he's on the 40 right now. And, picture got tweeted out by our Mike Roach tweeted out last night of him and Casey Thompson getting some work in the stadium, which Casey Thompson, Rod, I love the way you put it. He must tell his story now that he's out of the portal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's one of the only people that have survived the portal and then come back home to his original, location. Like, usually you go through the portal to a different place.
Sounds a lot
cooler.
Never
come back. He came back from the portal. We got to talk to him about that. That should be a good. Texas football should do a little thing about that. They like to do a little quirky stuff. Do something about that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'll just read you guys this post from Mike Roach at Horns 24/7, and then we'll talk about Brew McCoy. This is from Mike on Monday night. McCoy is settling in nicely in Austin so far, and this is what Mike's picked up from a few different sources. I spent some time with DeGabriel Floyd and Casey Thompson, so I guess that would be Sunday night. We know about the relationship between Floyd and Brew, but Thompson is a guy who was big behind the scenes during this recruitment. Until the two met during Brew's official visit and kept in contact throughout. Casey was there to greet Brew and his family when they arrived in Austin. He helped McCoy move into his dorm room and took some time to get some work in with him tonight. So, Rod, not only is Casey Thompson back in the program, he's helping the new 5-star wide receiver move in.
Hey, man, that's a smart thing to do. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Get that report on.
Yeah, I would say get the wide receivers in your quarterback. That's never a bad idea. Smart move.
So this is the other part. We'll talk about this from Mike. I was told by one source Brew feels like this is a load off his shoulders now that he's in Austin. I was told the feedback from his informal workout was that Brew showed off speed, fluidity, and crisp routes. And then Mike talked about the picture. So, Rod, we talk about replacing Lil Jordan Humphrey. We talked about, okay, you might have to moneyball it a little bit between this guy here and there. If Brew McCoy is eligible, this is pretty easy to figure out how you're going to replace Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, if he's eligible, I guess that's the big question. And I honestly, I think right now a lot of the momentum is that he will be eligible. A lot of people think it'll happen.
I would say cautious optimism, guarded optimism.
Yeah, I think it depends. It's the NCAA, so we never know what the NCAA is going to do. But I think that the NCAA is smart enough to know that either they're going to have to change the rules or kind of modify the rules, or they're going to have to, at one point, change the definition of a hardship. What's a hardship? And hardship for everybody's different, right? So everybody's trying to get the hardship waiver. If he wanted to get the hardship waiver, for him, a hardship was, hey, Cliff Kingsbury said he was going to be here. He's leaving, which is also something unprecedented. Yeah, we had never seen a Cliff Kingsbury situation really in college football to the NFL. We never saw a situation quite like that. No. If he's claiming that was the hardship, that particular circumstance, then he does have a valid case, because now we're seeing coaches leaving all the time. Manny Diaz just had a job for 17 days and then decided, hey, I'm upgrade. He went, hey, that's a transfer portal right there. All right? You know what I mean? So I think the NCAA understands that people are starting to get upset about not only the way these coaches are leaving, but now they're starting to do what the players do. Yeah. Oh, I went somewhere for a little while. I don't like it here. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Oh, I got a better job. I'm leaving. So there's no loyalty either way. So you do got to change something, because it does seem unfair. And I know the guy's got to sit out a year, and we can talk about all that too. But man, listen. You guys tell stories like Tommy Tuberville going to the bathroom during a recruiting visit, you know what I mean, and then never coming back. The kids find out later on during the recruiting visit the next day, oh, he took another job. All right, and then you got, I think Randy Edsel has another story like that, where after the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, he talks to the players and tells them all this stuff about being loyal and integrity, and then he doesn't ride the plane back with them, but takes another damn job, I think, at Maryland. I mean, hell, and they hear about it via text, via Twitter.
Mac Brown had an official visit weekend where Sunday morning at breakfast, he's trying to explain to a group of 17 recruits why Will Muschamp the night before took the Florida job. I remember when he spent the whole day Saturday talking about how you're going to fit in this defense and looking forward to the future, and then he's gone.
Those are only the stories that we hear about. That's becoming more of a regular occurrence all across college football. Even Nick Saban's upset because he got coaches leaving him without giving him notice.
He knows cleaning out his office. Where is he? Oh, he's gone.
Do you know what you've been doing to people for this long?
So when he go to the store, no, he's gone. He's gone. G-O-N-E, gone. Stuff is gone.
Late. He gone, coach. Yeah, so I think we're getting to the point now where, all right, we got to fix the system. Until they fix it, what's a hardship? Tate Martell in his situation, and Justin Fields in his situation, and I think Brew McCoy, I think those three instances, because they're so high profile and because they're such big-time athletes, all five-star guys, one of those three guys is going to get the waiver. We don't know which one. Now, Justin Fields is playing the race card. Brew McCoy is playing the coaches leaving card, even assisting coaches. And I don't know what the hell Tate Martell is going to play.
That's the interesting one for me, because when Tate Martell announced he's leaving Ohio State, it was, I'm transferring to Miami. And by the way, I'm hiring a lawyer who I'm letting you know is going to find me a loophole to get me eligible.
He might have a better chance than anybody.
Yeah. It's not like you're even trying to be deceptive about it. No, I've hired a lawyer and he's going through it with a fine-tooth comb to see where a loophole is.
Because they know the NCAA is just this shell that's so reactive. Exactly. And that's the main thing that it's great to see the momentum, because we've heard these just inadequacies across all college sports, but football's the main one because it gets the eyeballs and the attention. And so much money. Just recent years, when you've seen the coaches and the tide sort of just swing, that players slowly getting some type of traction and rights, but still haven't been able to ride that wave or get onto a wave. But the one thing is the NCAA always will react, and we've had more and more and more people talking about this. Then you actually see that the coaches leaving, it's happening at more of a rate than we have ever before, and just the contradictory nature. They've been sitting here, and the whole whole contradiction is the NCAA and its hypocrisy throughout. So it's getting to the point that you can feel that they're knowing that they have to give and give a little bit to the players. So at this point, this is one of the most simplistic ones. It's like, well, if you're letting the coaches do it, the players should, if their coaches go, quickly get that. And then you started to see like the redshirt rules amended this year, and we've seen some small stipends. And I think, and all those were all reactive things. And just like this one, I think the Tide will, as long as the right people are doing it, they're star players. Fields a star player. Same with Martell. They're big schools. And if you get the right lawyer in front of it and knows, they don't even have anybody to represent the other side with it.
Texas will make sure that Brew McCoy's paperwork is properly filled out.
Yes, then we'll go to the end. So it just sort of took the right person challenging the whole situation, and we've had more and more continue to challenge it. So they're going to continue to give because they know that they can't lose it entirely because NCAA really doesn't do anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Brew McCoy situation is different because he did enroll. He was a student at USC, so whether he signed a letter of intent or not, it's irrelevant. The minute you set foot in a classroom, you fall under the transfer guidelines, and you're a student athlete, and you have to go through the transfer process. Now, my thing, Rod, it's a slippery slope, man, because if you start granting hardships based on coaches leaving or something like that, I really believe you're gonna. And I'm not trying to speak disparagingly of Brew McCoy. I mean, as somebody who covers the program, I want to see Brew McCoy on the field as a true freshman.
Who doesn't?
But if you're going to start using, assistant coaches leaving as that being a reason for giving a hardship waiver, you might as well just go across the board and say, you know what, now on, as a player, you get one free transfer, no penalty. You get one freebie.
You know what? That's not great. I think that, okay, so within that time frame, right? We're talking about the first semester that you're on campus. Maybe you should have specific rules about that.
Early enrollee like that. Like
early
if you were just in high school.
Early commitment, things change, that kind of stuff. Maybe within that first semester, things will change. My idea, and it's kind of going along what you said, but maybe put a little bit more restriction on it. I think they should make it based on grades. So after that first semester, if you got a 3.5, and every school is different, right? So whatever it takes to get into Texas is different than what it takes to get into Missouri or whatever. Yeah, you have to make sure that you meet the requirements and criteria to get into that university. And so if you were a junior at this school, you might be a sophomore at the other school, all right? Because it just ain't the same. But if you have a 3.5 GPA, you should have no restriction on transferring, period. Like if you can meet a certain GPA requirement, they should say, you know what, you can transfer without penalty, because that would not only incentivize young men to make sure they are prioritizing education, to make sure that they can keep their free agent status, but it would show me at the NCAA, now you care about education. Your graduation rates would go up, everything would go up. And you know what the truth is? We know half these guys ain't going to be able to keep a 3.5 if they tried. Well, it's just, if they tried their hardest. So I think, to me, you want to have a nice, healthy balance. That's a nice, healthy balance. You get a good GPA, 3.5, whatever they want to say. I don't know what it is. Then you can transfer without restriction.
That's why I love the graduate transfer rule, because you look at Shane Buechele and Kyle Porter.
You're right.
They're both going to be able to transfer with 2 years left. Well, guess what? You worked your ass off. You graduated in time. Yeah, you go play you 2 years somewhere else.
That's how Garrett Gilbert was. Yeah, you were an exceptional student athlete. Good for you. I think, you know what? Let's push that even further. Okay, you guys want to transfer? Give me a 3 I don't know, make it 3.6. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Like make it something really, really tough. I don't know what's really, really tough these days. I've been in college a while.
Even if you did away with the freebie, Rod, for Brew McCoy, or you did away with the freebie, and you know, if you want to, I guess, punish, in air quotes, Brew McCoy, I don't think it would be a punishment, but if you're going to say, okay, instead of getting the 4-game red shirt year, you just get 4 to play 4, whether you get injured or whatever. You transfer, that's fine, but you got 4 to play 4.
Actually, I threw that idea out there with KD and Chad earlier this week. If the NCAA wants to punish you, then let you own your eligibility, right? So if you have, say you have, 5 years now of eligibility, basically, and if you include your red shirt, then say, okay, you owe us a year of eligibility then.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying don't even give them the option. Just say, okay, you got 4 to play 4.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, but my point is, give it to them. Give them the choice.
Yeah.
Give the players the choice. Quit trying to dictate terms to me. All right, you don't own my eligibility. You are just a fictional, shady, borderline criminal organization. So say, all right, you know what? You own your rights. Play. This is the whole problem with it, right? You don't own me. So quit trying to tell me what my eligibility is and what it ain't. You don't own me. You don't pay me enough money to own me. So give me the choice.
Yep.
Keep giving me choices. Say, okay, you know what, young man, you got 5 years eligibility. Now you can decide to sit out a year and keep your 5 because you might get hurt. You might need your 5. You might be Jordan Shipley. You might be Bo Scaife. All right, you might need it, or you can decide to give me a year right now because I'm gonna take that year. I'm an NCAA. Okay. I need that year. You can give it to me right now, and then you'll only have your 4. You know what I mean? Like, start giving me choices. Quit trying to tell me what to do. I'm a grown man. Like, that's the whole problem. What's going on with the NCAA?
Yep.
You are a criminal. All right, you won't even take a stand against criminal sexual assault against children. You won't take a stand against the mass sexual assault of women on a campus. Don't try to tell me what to do with my eligibility. Just give me choices. You're a business organization. You don't have a moral compass. You have a money compass.
Right.
So let's conduct business like that. Treat me like a business, like this is a business, and give me choices. And say, all right, you can do this or you can do that. Okay, that's fine. So that's what we got to get to. I think the conversation's got to change about them telling them what to do. And that's what part of the problem is right now. That's why exactly. It's why the players are like, no, I want this. My hardship is this. How you gonna tell me what a hardship is for me? If somebody yells the N-word at me, that hurts my feelings. Justin Fields says. All right. So an N-word to me, maybe a white man gonna tell me what an N-word means to me. That ain't a hardship. Hey, I got to grow up in it.
Right, no.
You know what I mean? What about Brew McCoy? Maybe he was really attached to Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe he smelled like queso and Febreze and Cool Water, and he really liked Cliff Kingsbury, and he looked good walking in there like Ryan Gosling, and he really got attached to him. How you going to tell that young man that's not a hardship that now he left, and now he's heartbroken? Because Cliff Kingsbury was considered to be the guy that was going to lead him to the NFL and maximize his potential. That's what at least he told him when he sat down on that couch. So you can't. So you got to get back to players' rights and quit trying to define what it is for players. You're not going to pay them, then let them have ownership of their freedom and liberty.
Yeah, and you can't compartmentalize them all as the same. And that's basically what they're doing right now is not even treating them as if they have each unique situations. And it's because NCAA isn't equipped to do it. It's like you said, basically they were grandfathered in to a situation that got so big that now they're just trying to hold on to whatever they can and really can't regulate anything within it, and it's so perfect that you have big stars from big schools as the ones taking this on and doing it all at the same time, because the conversation's been around at least mainstream media sports for the past 5 years, something that it wasn't for our entire lives growing up. You never even heard about the idea of player rights, and it was more like, oh, just be happy with what we give you, the damn free workforce. And now then we got our new ones.
Unlimited snacks.
There you go.
Take whatever you want,
you're damn
guys.
lucky we're giving this crap. And then it's now the NCAA sort of, oh, damn, we're lucky that we were given this entire free workforce, and now we can't screw it up or we're totally done.
Exactly.
And that's where they're at that tipping point right now.
That's exactly right.
There's a historical precedent. If Brew McCoy's lawyers, if his team wants to go down the road of getting him immediate eligibility, there is. We've seen it. You go back to SMU getting the death penalty, and I know I'm going way back.
Oh, no, I like it.
Go back and look at SMU getting the death penalty. When they said the program suspended, guys were allowed to transfer immediately.
Yeah.
No restrictions.
Yeah.
Eligible immediately. Well, I'm sure some of those guys that transferred were probably committed some of the biggest transgressions that got them the death penalty in the first place.
Very true.
They did.
I agree with that.
It's
go to the Baylor situation when you have the brows fall out and said, okay, you signed a letter of intent, whatever, go wherever you want to immediately. Because the thing there was
indefensible hardship.
Well, it became a deal where we were like, if you were recruited by Baylor at that time, and I'm not saying anything disparaging about the kids that ended up at Texas or wherever, but if you were recruited by Baylor at that time, there was enough chatter. You knew what was going on.
Yeah, you heard about it. Yeah.
So I don't think you couldn't sell. We didn't really know what was going on.
It was just that the NCAA was put in a situation there they couldn't just yell and say, all right, well, you're screwed, you got to stick with it. They're like, no, this is ghastly. We cannot make these kids be tied to something.
But if I'm Brew McCoy's team, that's what I'm going to go say. Like, you really mean to tell me those kids at Baylor had no idea what was going on?
Yeah.
You really want to tell me those kids at SMU back in the day that they were all just innocent bystanders and had nothing to do with that program getting the death penalty?
Yeah. They just, once it became official,
right,
then, they had, and they should have, by the way, had a reason to leave.
Right.
Because not all of them do know, and you can't assume or then blame the players or act as if they should know when it's the institutional issue and the institutional framework is what the problem is in the first place.
Look, at the end of the day, that's why I think, because when you start talking about the head coach leaves, so you get out of the letter of intent. Well, what if your relationship with the running backs coach is the relationship that you went to that school for and he leaves? Right, Rod, like you said, what makes your hardship different than mine? I think when the dust settles on this, the change I think we're going to see happen, and it's not a bad change, but you get one freebie.
Which, you know what? I agree with your thought process is that, all right, you know what? No complaints then. You get your one freebie. Yeah. You got your one mulligan.
Nobody's lawyering up.
You don't need the waivers no more.
Don't try to do anything nefarious.
We'll still have hardship waivers, but they will be designated for people who have deaths in the family. And I'm talking about real hardships. All right, talking about natural disasters affecting them, Hurricane Katrina type stuff. Don't hit me up about you missed home and you were really sad and your girlfriend broke up with you. I don't want to hear that. All right, you get one mulligan. So I agree with you on that. I would go one with the GPA idea because I want to kind of promote, the academic aspect of being a student athlete. But I'm with you. Either one of those. Either way, we agree. They got to modify it. Right. It's time to change it. That's the whole point.
I think you say the hardship is, look, I want to keep my 5 years to play for. I want to keep that. And I go to school at Washington State, but I'm from Waco, and both my parents are sick, and nobody's there to take care of my brother, so I need to get back home.
That's real hardships. Yeah. Not just circumstance, situational. Yeah, you know what I mean. So kind of first world hardships is what we should call them.
And that's where we had the both conversations, and you're entirely right on it. And then you still can also have the argument that, well, at least give us player rights, equivalency with the coaches, or along the lines that is at least more modern for our situations than how it has been, because we only did it that way.
I wouldn't be opposed to them doing both. Like, I'm serious. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to both. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then make it a 4.0 GPA, and you can transfer anytime you want to. Like, I would not be opposed to them having a stipulation where if you have a certain GPA, you have freedom to promote just the random guys going, man, I'm just going to focus on my studies right now until I get my athletics right.
If you're below that G, if you're in this range, you lose a year. If you're in this range, like, you got to sit.
Like, I'm all about that. Like, people are like, oh, that's crazy. Like, well, we're already trying to regulate, behavior with these young men. You know what I mean? If we're going to do that, then let's incentivize education.
It's just like anything with the NCAA, though. We're only going to see transfer reform at a time where it's so just out of control and so ridiculous to the NCAA. Well, maybe we need to step in and do something.
You have to shame them.
You need to step in 20 years ago and do something about transfer reform.
You got to shame them into it. It's almost like, no, you know what happens? It's it's like the Baker Mayfield rule, that kind of thing. But remember Shabazz Napier? He goes on national television before the national championship game for UConn basketball and says, I go to bed starving some nights. I go to bed hungry some nights. People are like, whoa, that's crazy. And that goes national. I'm talking about the View's talking about it. Everybody. It's on USA Today. It's New York Times. He's starving. And the NCAA goes, a year later goes, unlimited snacks!
Free snacks for everybody!
Free food for everybody! Yeah. You have to shame them into it. That's why these young men, I'm not mad at what they're doing. I'm not mad at Justin Fields playing the race card. Shame the NCAA into making change that is necessary.
We've got a couple minutes left, and I want to get to
only to be fair.
I want to get to Brew McCoy as a player, because I don't know if you guys gotten a chance to check out.
I haven't watched any film yet, so I will say that.
You're talking about a guy at 6'2", 205 that can play outside, play inside. I mean, I even think if this isn't the plan, if Texas wanted to flip him over to defense, I think this kid would be a hell of a rover, or maybe even grow into a B-backer for Todd Orlando.
B.J. Foster on the offensive side.
Rod, again, you talk about how are you going to replace Lil Jordan Humphrey. Going back to our point we made, I think, an hour and a half ago, if Brew McCoy's eligible, it's pretty simple how you're going to replace Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched them on film, but from everything I heard, and obviously I trust your evaluation, you're talking about matchup nightmares all across the field potentially at the wide receiving positions for Texas. Yeah. You know, with Colin Johnson and 6'6" frame, and a John Bird and a Devin Duvernay in their world-class speed, and a Brew McCoy, those types of, even a Jake Smith in a slot. You're talking about just matchup nightmares. To me, that's what you want if you're Texas, that in any situation, if somebody would dare cover one of your players one-on-one, then you can go to him, and you can exploit that matchup.
If Brew McCoy is eligible, Texas has the best collection of perimeter skill talent in the Big 12.
Does he start week 1 for Texas?
I don't know if he starts. I don't know if he starts, but like we've seen with Keontae Ingram and a bunch of other freshmen, I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters.
By mid-season, he will be contributing. No question about it. Yeah.
And he also has like the most Texas name. Whenever first I heard people saying Brew, and I thought of your boy Coach Brew, and then I think of McCoy, and it's like, oh, Brew McCoy.
His name is Horace, though, right?
I don't know, man.
I'm glad he got
awesome.
a nickname, Horace.
That's even better.
I only know one famous Horace, and that's Horace Grant. So I always believe that some names you should change them because there's not a likelihood of you being famous when your name is Horace.
The best,
I don't know, man. That's the reason why you keep it, though. There's not a lot of Horaces out there.
No, there aren't. It's like a Helga.
Man.
There aren't many Helgas, and there aren't many.
There's something about
there's no hot Matildas out there.
If your name is Horace McCoy III, like you seem like you should be wearing a monocle like the Monopoly guy.
That sounds a lot more sophisticated because our best guest that I used to have on with Ken Milam was Horace Gore, and that was about as redneck of a person I've ever met.
It's only Horace. I don't even know a Horace personally.
No, he is Brew, and to the point where like people on our message board, on the flagship message board at Horns 24/7 are like, what number is he going to wear? I got to get my Brew McCoy jersey. Like, let's see if he's going to be eligible first before.
He's the highest rated recruit that Tom Herman's ever had, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That includes Ed Oliver's out there. So
I gotta go look at where they were,
because Ed Oliver is a 5-star, right?
Yeah. McCoy was a composite 99.
Ed Oliver was pretty high, but I know. Yeah,
Matt, keep that up there. Let me throw this into the Google machine. Okay. What is Brew McCoy's?
9944.
Ed Oliver was a 99.66.
Oh, okay.
Ed Oliver edged him out.
Okay, so offensive player then.
Oh yeah,
most highly rated offensive player.
You realize this is the first time Texas has signed 2 5-star, legitimate consensus 5-star skill players in the same class since 2010.
That's awesome.
Oh, in 2010 it was. Oh, don't tell me. Mike Davis was one?
That's an easy one. We're talking about the 2010 recruiting class, so it's like a boom or bust class. No.
Skill players. Damn it. What's Jonathan? No, Jonathan.
He wasn't
Gray
here
was
very
later.
long.
Jonathan Gray was later. I don't know.
How about Darius White?
Oh wow. Yes! Yes.
Oh, Darius White, the number 4. That number 4.
He looked like Roy Williams for a while.
Roy Williams changed that number forever.
Good one. Yeah, you're right.
The guy who tried to tell Dorial Green Beckham not to come to Texas.
Well, it might have been a blessing in disguise too. Dorial Green Beckham had a lot of issues, but
hindsight is 2020, my friend.
He ended up getting kicked out of Texas anyway. Let's be honest.
He would have probably fit those.
Well, hell, if they would have given him 4, it wouldn't have worked out because Texas had a run of guys where it ain't exactly going smooth with guys that try to wear number 4.
Hold up, so how many 5-stars are in this class?
2. Well, 3 technically, because Tyler Owens is a 24/7 sports 5-star. Brew McCoy and Jordan Whittington are 5-stars.
So technically, that 2000 class is still the best wide receiving class Texas has ever had. You had 3 5-star receivers.
Yeah, Rob, but like you said, it didn't have this much versatility.
I think it has more depth and versatility in this class. You don't have that class probably ranking wise probably was higher.
You don't have 3 5-stars, but you've got 2 5-stars, and you've got the Gatorade Player of the Year in Jake Smith.
Yeah. I know, and a forward.
Oh, and by the way, Marcus Washington is like a top 150 guy.
I agree. No, I'm with you. I think the depth is. I'm with you. I think the depth and versatility is better, but I'm sure people will argue me down that 2000 class was nasty. Now it was nasty.
Tony Jeffrey was in that receiver.
Tony Jeffrey was in that.
The forgotten man of those times.
Who led the. I believe he led Texas in receiving in like 2004 randomly. When they had the 2 tight ends, when they had David Thomas and Bo Skees, it was Tony Jeffrey, I think, was leading receiver.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. It was uploading film, and it was of your footwork.
It was Ben Wells.
Ben Wells.
And wasn't it you covering Tony Jeffrey in that
it was.
film?
It was me covering Tony Jeffrey. Yeah, it was Tony Jeffrey.
And I only think of him, thank you for catching that pass in the Kansas Vince Young year. Like
Tony Jeffrey was a good player.
Rod B's up to his shoulders and sleeves and wristbands on the practice field.
I look clean. I look clean out there, man.
Yeah, your footwork looked like the Matrix on that film.
It was nasty,
clip.
Man. I used to.
It didn't look human.
Hey, the footwork used to be cold. That was my X-Men quality. Was my footwork. Everything else, was pretty human.
Hey, Earl Thomas doesn't lie. Earl Thomas is an honest guy. He said you still had the best feet in the world, right?
Yeah, my footwork was nasty. I worked hard at the footwork, man. For real.
All right, we'll come back next week. Coming off the Super Bowl, we really get into no football time. We didn't get a chance to get into the Senior Bowl, so maybe we'll get into some draft stuff.
Oh, that's right. Charles Minute, who made a lot of money, and Chris Boyd lost a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, no.
There were 4. Chris Boyd still got to meet with 4 teams at the Senior Bowl, though. So
well, I'm talking about the play on the field.
Yeah, well
at least
trying to end it on a positive note,
right? No. And I think Chris Boyd is actually going to end up being a steal for NFL. Yeah, the combine freak.
Which probably the field should matter maybe more.
He's our new Shockey Brown. I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Parting shot here, Charles Omenihu, 36.5-inch arms at the Senior Bowl. Longest arm measurement at the Senior Bowl since 2013. Longer arms than Myles Garrett measured in the pre-draft process. Just file that away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything about him
you start seeing Charles Omenihu's draft stock.
It's just soaring, man. It's going through the roof. Yeah.
All right. Matt, thanks for everything, man.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Rod, appreciate the time and the knowledge.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
For Matt, for Rod, for Travis, the best damn videographer and the podcast came for everybody at the Austin Radio Network and the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260, streaming on the Horn app and at hornfm.com, where you get Rod each and every weekday on the Rodcast from 1 to 3.
Shameless plug.
And thanks to Matt, you can get this show anywhere you get your podcasts and always get our archives on the Longhorn Blitz SoundCloud page.
Yep, just type in Longhorn Blitz.
For the Horn family, for the Horns 24/7 family, I'm Jeff Howe. Thank you so much for downloading and listening, and we will catch you again on the next episode.
You've been listening to Longhorn Blitz with Horns247.com. Remember, for the latest Longhorn news 24/7, visit Horns247.com.